Yo, what's happening? What is happening? Ladies and gentlemen, it is Wednesday, January 21st, 2026. And I am here and I am ready to talk some major trash. Not really. I'm not really here to talk some trash. Well, I mean, I guess I am. In a sense, I kind of am. I don't want to be necessarily the one person that ends up being the bad guy on everything that I do talk about, but sometimes you just end up having just, opinions that not everybody's gonna agree with, and I am okay with that. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with a differentiate of is that even a word? A difference in opinion. Let me just say that I'm okay with having a difference in opinion on a lot of various types of different things as well. But a lot of people just tend to not agree with me on some stuff, not everything. Dawn is in the house as well, ladies and gentlemen. In the house. And you are the first one in the house on this fabulous Wednesday. We are turning this into another episode on our slowly but surely growing YouTube channel that is called Unofficially IMO. And we are here, we are live, and you are here with me as well. Ladies and gentlemen, please do me a huge favor if you can. If you can. And it's entirely up to you. Absolutely. Entirely up to you. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. As you can see as well, let's go. Let's get it. Let's make it happen. We got a poll up here on the YouTube chat giving you several different options. Go ahead and pick the one that suits you best. Let's grow our channel. Let's go places together. We will do fantastic things. And you never know. One day we might end up on the Megyn Kelly show. You never know. You never know. You never know. But today is just one of those days where, you take a look at what's going on in the world and you have to sit there and think to yourself, you're like, holy cow. That's insane. I can't believe that is actually happening and people are getting away with that. And you have to tell yourself, like, man, are these people okay? You know what I mean? You have to sit there and wonder, like, are these people mentally okay, especially in Minnesota? And, it's a valid question. It really is. So I welcome all of you. Please sit back, relax. Let's go ahead and jump right in to today's festivities. You can listen to my song. Listen to my song. Well, you know what? Copyright reasons. Or else I would say, you know what? Let's listen to your song. But I don't know, unless it's free or I'm not going to get hit with a copyright strike, I might take that in consideration. You never know. You never know. Ladies and gentlemen, please, here we go. Let's go ahead and jump right into today's festivities. Listen, okay? Imagine this. A sitting congresswoman. We're going to get into a whole lot of different things here today, but I'm going to go ahead and get into my opening monologue. Y'all ready for this? Y'all ready for my opening monologue? This is my opening monologue. You guys are going to have a fantastic time with this one. I hope so. We're just going to have to wait and see exactly how it unfolds. But imagine this, okay? A sitting congresswoman denies being a millionaire, only for her net worth to skyrocket up to $30 million in a single year. Shady or savvy? I think it's kind of shady when you sit there and you actually really think about it. It's kind of shady. It's definitely not savvy, in my opinion. And what about protesters bursting into a Sunday church service, terrifying families and kids all to rage against ICE, legal protest, or is it an outright crime? If that doesn't hook you for today's festivities, I don't know what will. That's what we're going to be talking about. So make sure you guys stick around and we will talk about the facts. That is definitely wilder than fiction. Welcome to Unofficially IMO, where we cut through the noise, expose the spin, and deliver the unfiltered truth. And this is called the Unofficial Breakdown. Let's start with the money mystery over with Representative Ilhan Omar. Is that how you say her name? Ilhan? Is it Ilhan Omar? Ilhan Omar. That's how you say her name. I can't even say her name. Ilhan Omar. Back in 2023, her financial disclosures showed humble holdings. Her husband's Rose Lake Capital Venture, the firm that he has, valued at just $1 to $1,000. And their, I don't even know how you say this, S2 Crew Winery? They have a winery. And that was just valued at $15,000 to $50,000. Now, this was all back in 2023. Now, when you fast forward all the way to 2025, filing, mind you, when they're filing for 2024, and then boom, the Rose Lake jumps to $5 million to $25 million. And this winery that she has hits $1 million to, or not the winery, the stew. I can't even pronounce that. What is that called? The stew? The Esther Crew hits between $1 million and $5 million. And that's pushing their combined net worth to be between $6 million and $30 million with those two businesses in play. That's a potential 3,500% surge in over 1 year, ladies and gentlemen. 3,500% surge in just 12 months. Her congressional salary, though, when you look at her congressional salary, it's just $174,000. There's no mega stocks or mansions in her name. She doesn't have any of that, but the eyebrows are raised sky high with her House Oversight Committee probing ties to Minnesota's massive Somali welfare fraud scandals. Omar calls it ridiculous, but the math screams for answers. Is that insider deals or is it just a killer investment? You guys tell me. Is her net worth $30 million? She's going to deny it all day long. She'll tell you that it's not $30 million. I think she actually came out and said, I barely have thousands of dollars to my name, let alone $30 million. Sure. We'll just have to see about that, won't we? Yeah, we will. Now, switching over from Ilhan Omar, now we switch to the chaos in the pews. Just days ago, on January 18th, activist William Kelly, a known anti-ICE agitator, and about 30 protesters stormed city churches in St. Paul, Minnesota during Sunday's service. They chanted ICE out. That's their whole thing. ICE out. ICE, pretty much get out of here. And then they went ahead and also accused Pastor David Easterwood, that's the pastor's name of that church, of secretly heading the local ICE field office and shut down worship among terrifying parishioners as well, including their children. Videos show that the disruption turning ugly, and also with shouts and refusals to leave. And was there any laws that were broken at the same time when they bombarded that church? The DOJ's Civil Rights Division is investigating the potential violations of the FACE Act, which protects access to religious services from threats or obstruction, plus the Ku Klux Klan Act for intimidation. And then you have St. Paul Police. They're also probing disorderly threats or obstruction, St. Paul Police are probing disorderly conduct and criminal trespass on private property. They're looking into that as well. Then you have the Minnesota Attorney General, Keith Ellison. He's pushing back, calling it protected speech, but critics slam it as unholy harassment, not free expression. And when you look at that, where is the line being drawn? Where is the line being drawn in all that? So is it freedom of speech to just, walls your way into a church on a Sunday and, just go in there and spew all this crazy rhetoric and hate speech? They call it hate. It's not hate speech. It's straight up just hateful, and it's just hateful, period, for these guys to go in there, do what they were doing in that church service this past Sunday. And everybody was I think it was Don Lemonhead. I call him Don Lemonhead. He went in there and he was telling the pastor, he's like, hey, are you going to talk to these people? I mean, are you just not going to say anything at all? And the pastor's just like, there's no talking to these guys. We can't, what am I going to say? They're in here. They're making noise. They're already upset. I mean, there's nothing I'm going to be able to say to any of these people. And he had a point there. There is definitely nothing that you're going to be able to say to any of those guys. There's just not. I mean, they came in there, they're on a mission, and they're being loud, they're being disruptive. So there's nothing that you can do. There's literally nothing you can say. And when you look at it in that sense, you can't help but to think, like, how many laws were actually broken here? Yeah, the Attorney General didn't even know the FACE Act. Yeah, he didn't. He probably doesn't know any of the acts. He probably doesn't even know any of the acts that were actually taking place. I wouldn't doubt it. I definitely wouldn't doubt it. And before we get into the church craziness over there in Minnesota, those poor people too, man. Those poor people that were in there and, just minding their own business, worshiping God, they're in prayer. And then you have these people come in and just start bombarding the church and making all this ruckus. And it's just, it's a damn shame that stuff like that happened. And they're lucky that stuff didn't go south for those protesters. I mean, because it could have turned ugly. It really could have. It could have went bad. Now, speaking of Ilhan Omar, I'm going to call her Ilhan. I think that's how you say her name. Ilhan Omar. There is, when we were talking about that, it just at the beginning of the video here, we were talking about her net worth. Okay. We were talking about how in the world is this woman worth, just in a span of 1 year, go from just, the thousands of dollars in her net worth to literally $30 million. Now, again, she's going to deny that. But any sitting congressperson or congresswoman or congressman or whatever it is, for their net worth to jump that much in that short amount of time, that's a red flag. That's definitely a red flag. Okay. Anybody that sits there and tells you that there's no problem with that, there's nothing wrong with that, that's a problem. That is a huge problem for anybody to have their net worth skyrocket in that short amount of time. Now, again, this video that we're going to play you here next is a video that highlights the House Oversight Committee investigation into Ilhan Omar's net worth, which financially discloses shows jumps from a negative $65,000 in 2018 up to $30 million in just 2026, despite her $174,000 congressional salary. And she's definitely getting looked into. Now, is any charges going to be brought against her? Possibly, if they can uncover. I mean, how much fraud is actually occurring in Minnesota? Billions of dollars worth. She's from Minnesota. Do you think she had anything to do with that fraud occurring? I don't know. In my opinion, she might have. She definitely might have. And you can't help but wonder to yourself, did she have anything? Was she dipping into that fraud? It's hard to say, and that's they're probably looking into all that too as well. So let's go ahead and jump into this investigative side of Ilhan Omar, and it's starting to not look too pretty for her.
This woman Ilhan Omar's net worth went up nearly $30 million. The question is how. Here's what we know. Omar's husband, a former political consultant, owns a venture capital firm based in Washington, D.C. and a winery in California. Take a look at these numbers.
Wait, didn't she marry her brother, though? That was like the whole thing that a lot of people were talking about. So people were saying like, oh, she married her brother. Y'all remember that? Yeah. Yeah, this is... There was a lot of speculation going on that she married her brother to come over to the United States so she could be so she could be here and be a citizen.
2023, Omar disclosed a maximum of $50,000 in assets at the winery. The next year, Dana, that number increased to $5 million. Meanwhile, her husband's company, Rose Lake Capital, reported a maximum of $1,000 in assets in 2023. The next year, it was $25 million. Despite that, Omar denied being a millionaire earlier this year, posting on X, quote, "I barely have thousands, let alone millions." House Oversight.
Yeah, see, that's what I said. I barely have thousands, let alone millions. Well, you know what my answer to that would be, my response to that would be, is I would say, prove it. Prove to me that you're not a multimillionaire. Show me. You have businesses? Show me the amount of money that those businesses made in 1 year. You know, the winery or whatever else you got going on. Show us your income tax. Show us your tax return. You know, usually people with net worths like that, they pull an income from it, you know, and if they don't pull an income from it, you should still be obligated to disclose any income that you're making while you're sitting and representing, you know, either in the House of Representatives or Congress. You know, you should have to disclose all that stuff, no matter what it is. If it's financial, you should be obligated to, because you are representing the people of your district when you're in there. They have all the rights in the world, especially when you're getting paid through taxpayer money. So those people deserve to know how much your net worth is and how much money you made. Everybody, I mean, that's all public. Everybody knows that you make about 170. Some of the people make around $200,000 a year. I think it just depends on what state you're in, what district you're in, you know, but for her net worth to jump that high, she's claiming it's not. I call bullshit.
Site Committee Chairman James Comer tells Fox News an investigation is underway, writing, quote, "The committee is working on addressing ethics concerns regarding Representative Omar and her spouse, and we hope to have an update soon." But Omar says she's being targeted.
Ever since I've gotten to Congress, they have been doing these sort of weird ethics investigations. None of them have yielded anything because I have been as transparent as I can be.
Of course, others see it differently. Elon Musk says Omar committed fraud, while President Donald Trump posted on Truth Social, quote,
"She should be in jail or even a worse punishment, sent back to Somalia." Could you imagine if they find some shit on her that she actually, you know, made this money fraudulently or made it illegally? Or she might have had a hand in you know, the fraud that was taking place in Minnesota. Could you imagine? Of course, they're going to deny it. They're going to say, no, that's not true. That, you know, I made this money legitimately. Well, and my thing is, when the finger's being pointed at you like that, my thing is, I would want to clear my name as soon as possible. I mean, wouldn't you? Would you want to change the rhetoric here to go the opposite way to make you look like you're innocent? I mean, for me, I'd be fighting tooth and nail. Like, this is not true. I will prove it. We don't have to go to court to prove it. I'll show you right now. Let me show you. I'd hold a press conference. Here's my stocks that I've invested in. Here's how much money they made last year. Here's how much money I drew from that from those stocks that I made. The amount of financial income that I made for those stocks. Everything. You know, I'd be putting everything out there, and you should, being a public official like that. You should. Your net worth just in that short amount of time, from 2018 to 2026, you should not jump to $30 million. She's claiming it's not, but she needs to prove it.
She should be in jail or even a worse punishment, sent back to Somalia. Omar authored the Meals Act in 2020, which loosened oversight on food programs during COVID. Federal prosecutors say one of those programs, Feeding Our Future, stole $250 million through fake meal sites. We did reach out to Omar as part of this story, but so far we have not heard back, Dana.
Okay, Nate Boy, thank you for that.
Yeah, you're not going to hear back from her. If you do hear anything, it's probably if they do start digging up some dirt on her, you're gonna hear you're gonna hear from her attorneys and not her. That's what you're going to hear from. Her attorneys are the ones that you're going to start seeing in front of podiums talking to the public about how my client is innocent. My client doesn't have a net worth of $30+ million. Yada, 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 blah, 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 blah. That's what you're going to hear, right? And, you know, it's innocent until proven guilty. Unless you're a Republican, then it's guilty until proven innocent. That's what it feels like anyway. And, you know, you could disagree with me on that, but it does feel like, you know, it's innocent until proven guilty. That's the way it is. But if you're a Republican, nope, you're guilty first. Or if you, it just depends on who you are. And that's 100% true. It depends on who did you vote for? Are you a Democrat? Or are you Republican? Oh, you're an independent, but you might be a little more liberal and not so much conservative. Okay, well, you're innocent until proven guilty. Oh, you voted Donald Trump? You're guilty. Prove your innocence. So she has her due process, right? So if they do find something, then she has all the right in the world to prove that she, you know, never took any money that didn't belong to her, or whatever the case is, right? Whatever they end up finding on her. And then again, they might not find anything at all. And then they might come back and say, hey, you know, she earned that money legitimately. I just don't know how you did earn the money legitimately. How did you do that? You know what I mean? How did you earn a $30 million net worth? Even people that make, you know, high income, you know, $500,000+ a year, business owner salary, whatever it is that you do, and you make a high living like that, even those people, you know, would probably sit there and probably tell you that earn that money legitimately. They would probably sit there and tell you, like, I don't have a $30 million net worth, and I have $500,000 a year salary, you know, unless you are really, really good with your money. And I'm talking, you still have a very high income. I'm talking between $500,000 and $1 million income. For you to earn that kind of money, it would still take years to earn a $30 million net worth. It would take years, right? Unless you write a book, because some of these people write books, you know, and they sell a bunch of copies and they make millions of dollars that way. And you can invest money into, you know, into retirement funds or whatever it is, right? And then you can grow that money, and now you have a net worth of several $1 million, right? But I mean, I mean, come on. Unless you were a successful business person before you got into Congress, there's no flipping way, dude, that you've earned a $30 million net worth. I don't believe it. She's maintaining she's not worth that kind of money, but trust me, they're looking into it. They're going to find out if that's true or not. And I hope for your sake that it is not true, that this is all just a big misunderstanding and I earned this money legitimately, but it's not millions of dollars worth. Not on almost said $174 million. I almost, not on $174,000 a year salary. You just don't. Not even in 2018, all the way up to 2026. There's still no way. Absolutely no way. So I thought that was really interesting. And y'all let me know down in the comments. Do you agree? Do you think that Ilhan Omar is a multimillionaire and she earned it legitimately? Or do you think there's some pretty sus stuff that she might be dipping her hands into? Let me know down in the comment section below. So now we're going to go ahead and move on here, ladies and gentlemen. So we're going to switch gears a little bit. We're going to talk about William Kelly. Now, who's William Kelly? You know what I mean? Who's William Kelly? When is her book coming out? The Art of the Scam. You know, she might be in the middle of writing it right now as we speak. You never know. How I became a multimillionaire in under 10 years. How I became a multimillionaire. Tens of millions of dollars worth in less than 10 years. I'll show you how. Like I said, unless you like write a book or you write, you know, something that becomes very, you know, people want that product and you become very successful at it, and you know, you then you blow up and your business does very well, but that takes a long time. You know, not just several years, that takes years, right? I mean, unless you're like stupid lucky and something pops off for you and you earn, that money very quickly, which sometimes I guess that can happen, right? If your business tends to do very well, but I would still think that would take several years, right? That's what I think. Now, William Kelly. So who in the hell is this guy? Now, if I say his name out loud without showing you a photo of this man, I think he's a man. I'm not sure. Yeah, that's a dude. Okay. Well, he pretends to be a man, but he's no man. He's definitely not a man. In my opinion, he is not. The video of an anti-ICE activist, William Kelly, a combat veteran, definitely challenging U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi to arrest him after protesters disrupted a St. Paul, Minnesota church service on January 19th of this year, 2026, targeting Pastor David Eastwood over his alleged ICE role. Kelly insists that the group was welcomed, did not halt prayers or music, and quotes Fred Hampton's revolutionary slogan to frame the action as part of a broader resistance amid his history of harassing figures like police, union leaders, and DC troops. DHS Secretary Kristi Noem vowed arrests for the anti-ICE mob, citing federal law over First Amendment protections, while Minnesota AG Keith Ellison, we all love Keith Ellison, don't we, dismissed FACE Act violations, underscoring clashes between sanctuary state policies and Trump administration enforcement. So you got Ellison here saying that nothing was wrong, no laws were broken, no FACE Act was violated, none of that stuff. And then you got Pam Bondi that's looking to arrest this guy. So let's take a look and see exactly what this man said at a podium just the other day here. Just the other day. Let's take a look and see exactly what this guy is talking about. So anytime this guy talks, he is so loud. He always wants to projectile his craziness in such a loud manner. And am I saying there's anything wrong with that? No, if you're trying to do something right within reason and you're trying to get your point across for something, that's one thing. But the whole craziness surrounding this and this guy being front and center of the whole entire thing, like, come on, man, just anyway, let's play the video.
I mean, what we're seeing around this country is they're using their political influence to attack people that disagree with them. They're going to come at me with charges, and I'm not scared of that. There's no base for these charges. I did not block them from, their service. They welcomed us in. They never asked us.
Hold on. No. Did they? This is the first for me. Did the churchgoers welcome these protesters into the church? I don't know, man. I don't think they did. I think they just kind of went in there, didn't they? Loudmouth. This dude is very loud. I don't think you would hear this guy coming down. You would hear him coming down the sidewalk from like 2 blocks. Was that true? Because somebody fact checked that. Did somebody actually allow this guy into the church along with, however many other protesters there were? I don't think that's true. I think they just kind of made their way in there.
To leave. The police never came in and removed us.
Okay, so the police never showed up, most likely because they were told not to interfere with any of the shit that you guys are doing. I think the police were told by Mr. Fry, the mayor of Minneapolis, if you want to call him that. I think that's just on paper, in my opinion. He's no leader. He's definitely not a leader. He's definitely not a man of upholding law and supporting the police. I think that Governor Walz and Mayor Fry is telling the police and state police, local police and state police, to not interfere with any of these protests. I have yet to see any of these police local police, I haven't seen it on camera, make any arrests with any of these protesters. It's all been ICE that I've seen. So I don't think police are involved, like, at all, for anything.
So we didn't stop their service. In fact, people were still praying the entire time. The music was still playing the entire time.
People were scared shitless. They were probably praying for their lives to not be ended because they didn't know what the hell you guys were going to do. They were scared to death. They were scared. They didn't want any part of whatever craziness that you were trying to bring inside that church. They didn't want anything to do with it. Plain and simple. So yeah, they're praying that they don't get hurt because it kind of looks like you were going to do some harm.
So, Pam Bondi, you want to come and arrest me? You want to come and give me charges? So be it. And for all the people giving me death threats, threatening my life, kill me. Go ahead, kill me. Because you know what? What we're seeing around this country is they're...
All right, I hit back by mistake here. Let me fast forward.
The entire time. So, Pam Bondi, you want to come and arrest me? You want to come and give me charges? So be it. And for all the people giving me death threats, threatening my life, kill me. Go ahead, kill me. Because you know what? As Fred Hampton said, you can kill the revolutionary, but you can't kill the revolution.
Well, you know what? He might just get what he's asking for as far as being arrested, because he may very well probably get arrested in the next coming couple days. I wouldn't doubt it. So yeah, if you want to get arrested, you're probably going to get arrested, and you'll have federal charges brought against you, and you'll have to defend yourself in court, and you can't sit there and say, hey, the police never came in here and stopped anything. I don't think the police are going to interfere with anything that these guys are doing. Is that the whole video? Yeah, that's the whole video. That's the whole video right there. Ladies and gentlemen, so this makes me sick to my stomach. These guys thought they had all the power in the world to go in there and protest. No. You did not. You are not allowed to go into a place of worship the way that you did and disrupt the service and scare the shit out of everybody and just get and did what you did. You can't do that. Okay. If you want to wait outside and stay outside on the sidewalk or in the street, wherever you were, and scream and yell and protest outside, sure, you go right ahead. That's your right. You're allowed to protest. It's your First Amendment right. Go do you. You do your thing. But it's within reason. There's a reason why you can't go into a place like that and disrupt and cause rhetoric and chaos amongst the people. You can't do that. Had he stayed on the street and did what he did, all of them actually, including Don Lemon, a so-called independent journalist, had they stayed on the street and did that, then they would have been perfectly within their limits to do so. And there's nothing wrong with that. But that's not what happened. And you wouldn't be hearing Pam Bondi, talk about arresting him or arresting any of the protesters or any of that. So you wouldn't be hearing about that. But the way they went about doing it caused the craziness. And that's what happened. And that's the reason why, ladies and gentlemen. Now, you tell me, what do you think? Do you think that man's going to be arrested? Do you think any of the protesters will be arrested and criminal charges brought against them? Let me know that in the comments. Let me know down in the comments. Let me know what you think. That's pretty much all I have on hand for this Wednesday here. Those are the only two major videos. For the most part, a lot of the stuff is on repeat on the news. We definitely know that the protests are still going on in Minneapolis. There's people in my neck of the woods on local radio shows and local radio stations around my area where I am currently located. You hear talk shows talking about, if ICE comes to this city, if ICE comes to that city, and talking about, that everybody has their constitutional right to, stay within your car and not get pulled out of your car and show your papers, and you don't have to show anybody anything and all this. And the more I listen to this stuff, I'm like, man, you're going to get people in so much trouble. If ICE does, and a lot of the times ICE is already in your city. You just don't hear about it. You don't hear about it because it hasn't became, it's either not being reported on or nothing has happened yet. And when I say yet, it probably hasn't happened yet, but it probably, you know, it's so far it's just Minneapolis. It's just people. It's just in Minneapolis that you're seeing all this craziness at. You're not seeing it in Texas. You're not seeing it in Florida. You're not seeing it not yet in California. You're not seeing it in Chicago. You know, you're not seeing it in anywhere else in America. You're not seeing it in Cleveland. Charlotte, North Carolina, you're not seeing it in any of those places yet. That doesn't mean that they're not there. It's just the way that the craziness went down in Minneapolis, with Renee Good being shot by an ICE agent. That's the only reason why that shit blew up. And you got a mayor there in Minneapolis who's just crazy, out of his mind crazy. And that's when you start seeing people losing their shit, because you got a mayor there who's allowing this shit to happen. My thing is, if you work with local law enforcement, and I said this on the last live stream, guys, I said, hey, local law enforcement and state law enforcement should be working with ICE and helping these guys, you know, get through the process of doing what they need to do faster so they can get the hell out of your city. Do you think these ICE agents want to be there and be there and continue to do what they're doing? To a certain extent, no, they probably don't. They probably want out. A lot of them probably don't even want to be there anymore because they fear for their safety. They fear for their lives because the people there are so nuts. I think mental health issues are pretty high amongst those people down there, going down there and causing all this chaos. But they're there to do a job, and a local law enforcement is not helping them do it. And I just, it's because they're being told not to. Because when do you ever see Minneapolis Police Department helping ICE agents? You don't see it being filmed. You don't see them, you know, saying, hey, ICE, there's people down here that you can go look at. We got a tip in this area. We got calls coming in about people being in that area. You don't see Minneapolis Police Department, you know, trying to assist these guys. And I think they should. But that's not what you're seeing. And instead, I think you're getting the complete opposite. Unfortunately, you're getting the complete opposite. You're getting direction. In my opinion, you're getting direction from Mayor Fry telling these guys, nope, don't go in there. Don't help these guys. Don't do it. And I think that's what's happening right now, honestly. And Governor Walz, I am shocked that he hasn't stepped down as governor yet. I am super surprised. But we'll just have to wait and see what happens there. We really will. It's a crazy time there right now. How long is ICE going to be in Minneapolis? Who knows? It might be for another week. It might be another month. It might be all the way up leading into spring, going into summer, probably as long as it takes until the job is done. I think that's legitimately what's happening there right now. You know, they're not going to leave until the job is finished, right? So that's pretty much what's happening there right now. And if you haven't already, ladies and gentlemen, please do me a favor. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. If you are new here, make sure that you turn on all those notifications so you don't miss any time that I go live or I upload a video. And I appreciate everyone being into the chat here today. Thank you so much. This channel is brand new. We've only been out now for, I think, on the better half of the last, 90-ish days or so. We don't have a lot of video content out there, and I'm trying to change that this year. I want to be a little bit more, out there as far as like the live streams go, as far as videos go. Definitely want to make this channel a little bit more known in the YouTube atmosphere. So for those of you that have subscribed in the past, you know exactly who you are. I appreciate you. Anybody that's returning here in the chat that has subscribed, You're appreciated as well. Thank you for doing that. Let's take a look here. Let's look at some of the comments. Let's take a look. I guess there's a lot of issues to look at to make an opinion about these. There is a lot going on, and a lot of people's opinions aren't very popular. It just depends on what side you're on. You know, are you on the side of law and order and keeping America safe, or are you on the side of, everybody here is a citizen regardless of where you came from, whether it's legal or not? It just depends, right? But your opinion is definitely your opinion alone, and I respect that. I really do. I'm for law and order. I am definitely for that. I am not a huge fan of what's happening with local law enforcement not getting involved and helping these guys. I think that's a terrible move. If you want these guys out, just help them. I mean, that's it. It's not easy being an ICE agent right now, that's for sure. But it's not a hard decision. You should be definitely supported by local law enforcement. On the side of freedom, yes, same here. Pro-ICE, pro-Trump. Pro-ICE, pro-Trump. Yep. And I think a lot of people are definitely upset about Donald Trump. There was a poll that went out that said that 71%, I don't even know where this poll came from. 71% of Americans are where did I hear this from? I need to start writing this stuff down. I have a memory like a goldfish sometimes. 71% of Americans are fed up with the direction that America is going in right now. I think it's all for a reason. It's all for a reason why Donald Trump does what he does. Because people tend to forget that we had 4 years of an administration that just took this country in such a crazy direction that Donald Trump has to do these things in order to get everything back on track. So that's why you see him going overseas and doing all these things. And he's trying to make America richer than what it already is. And he's trying to make all these deals and to benefit the people. And people and people don't see that. They just see him as a nuisance and just this horrible human being. And they usually don't have they have no reason as to why they hate Donald Trump. But everything that he's doing as president is for a reason. You know what I mean? The guy never sleeps. People tend to forget, like, I don't think this man goes to bed. I think he's up 24 hours a day, 7 days a week with the way he just keeps on going. I mean, it's crazy. We talking about the fascist regime? Come on, man. Yes, Trump and ICE. Now, they pulled everyone in San Francisco, did they? He isn't making any deals. I think he's doing a lot behind the scenes that most people either don't understand what he's doing, or he's not telling anybody what he's doing behind the scenes. I think he's trying to do what he needs to do to make this country great. Is he focusing more on foreign policy? I think that just comes with the territory of being president. And a lot of people are like, well, he ran on America first, and it still is. It just doesn't feel that way because he's going overseas a lot, but it's for a reason. It's for a reason. They changed the name of Greenland to Trumpland. I wouldn't doubt it. They're already having panic attacks that he put the Trump Kennedy Center there. They're already having heart attacks over that. And they're going to want to change it when he's out of office. Right now, I don't know what deals he's working on. He hasn't recently made any deals while he's been overseas recently. But what I'm saying is he is most likely trying to do some things behind the scenes to benefit America. And you know what? That's what people voted him in there to do, is to run this country the way that he saw fit that benefits Americans, and that people voted for this. This is what they wanted. This is what people wanted. This is what they voted for. You know? He called Greenland, Iceland 3 times in his speech today. Didn't he talk for like 2 hours? He talked for a while today. Maybe he's one in Iceland too. He's got me fooled. Oh, come on now. I think he's got me right where I need to be. Right where I need to be. You believe his lies. It's your fault. Yeah. I mean, come on, man. Yeah, I believe his lie. I feel that, listen, I'm going to really piss you off when I say this. I think he's the best president this country's ever had next to Abraham Lincoln. Just throwing it out there. Donald Trump is the greatest president this country's ever seen and ever will be. The closest person that will probably be the next greatest president, second in line to Donald Trump, is J.D. Vance. If he wins, I can see J.D. Vance being the front runner for the Republican side. As far as the Democratic side, I have no idea. But in my opinion, Donald Trump is the greatest president this country's ever had. Plain and simple. That's how I feel. A lot of people disagree with that, and that's fine. But I feel like the ultimate freedom of speech president that we've ever had is Donald Trump. The ultimate not give a fuck about what you think of me, and I'm going to do what I need to do to keep this country safe and be the president for the people. That's Donald Trump. We never had a pro-American president like this before, and you probably never will. You'll probably never see that again. That's happening right now. Witnessing history. Everybody, like, it's another thing too. Like, you are literally you're witnessing history right now. You know what I mean? You're witnessing the way that this country is unfolding under this president. It's been such a roller coaster ride over the better half of 10 years, 12 years. Well, not exactly 12, about 11 years. When he came out and ran, 2015? So yeah, about 11 years. And it's been a ginormous roller coaster ride the entire time. Even when Donald Trump, even when he lost to Joe Biden in 2020, I mean, it felt like the dude never left office because everybody was so keen and focused on Donald Trump for like the longest time. And it just kind of felt like he never left. And then all of a sudden, people just sat there and watched this country go in the direction that it went in. And everybody sat there. Like I said this on the last live stream. I said, hey, this guy, people are sitting there now and telling themselves, hey, we fucked up, man. We fucked up. We should have kept you in office. I think COVID had a lot to do with that. Because I think when presidents get sick, especially during that pandemic, when presidents got sick, I think people got scared of that. And I feel like, Joe Biden came in and everybody thought he was going to be the end all be all when it came to COVID, and he was going to like find a cure and then find all this stuff. Right. So I think people were just scared and they voted for Joe Biden in there because they just felt like this is too serious of an issue. We need to get somebody in there that they probably felt like was going to be able to handle COVID over Donald Trump, and amongst a couple other different things too. But in my opinion, I felt like that was a big part of it. And people probably realized pretty fast within that year, hey man, we fucked up. We shouldn't have voted for this guy. We shouldn't have voted for him. We made a mistake. We made a mistake. And I honestly feel like, too, that I'm going to say something else that's probably not popular with a lot of people, but that's okay. I feel like his son, Barron, will run for president one day. And I believe he'll have a really good chance of winning. And he'll be the tallest president this country's ever seen or ever had. Next to Abraham Lincoln, which I believe Abraham Lincoln was 6'5". And then you have Barron Trump. I think Barron's like 6'9", some crazy height like that, 6'9". And I feel like this man is going to run for president one day. And I kind of look at that in a way like there's two things, and I'll say this too. JFK Jr., before he was tragically taken from us in a plane crash. What year was that? Like 1990. That was a long ass time ago. It was in the, I think, mid to late 90s. He died in a plane crash, tragically, over there by Martha's Vineyard. And he said when he was alive that somebody asked him a question if he would ever run for president, and he had no interest in running for president. But had he not passed away, had he survived or still been around, I feel that he would have won president. I think JFK Jr. would have won president. And I feel like he would have been a really good president. And now I feel like it's kind of like Donald Trump being, when he leaves office, he'll be in the background, and you'll have guys later on down the road, his son, you'll have him, getting the bug going. I could see him probably getting a microphone stuck in his face at some point, and somebody saying, "Hey, would you ever run for president? Hey, Barron, Mr. Trump, would you ever run for president?" No, I have no interest in running for president. And then I could see his dad, Donald Trump, saying, "If you want to run for president, I'll support you. Let's go." And I could see Barron Trump running for president and winning the presidency of the United States. I could see that happening. And I would have, like I said, JFK Jr., I felt like he would have ran for president eventually, and he probably would have won. He probably would have won. And he probably would have been one of those Democrats, level-headed Democrats, that would have done good things for this country. And I feel like, that would have been, when did the Democratic Party just decide to lose their minds? 2015. That's when they lost their minds. But prior to that, like, Democrats weren't, not like a JFK Democrat. When I think of a Democrat, I think of like a Democrat like JFK. A lot of people said like JFK, obviously way before my time, but JFK was a Democrat that thought like a Republican, but he was a Democrat, and he was able to relate with the people in that way because he was able to relate to both sides very well. And, I felt like if you can find, like, listen, the thing with Democrats here, what I'm trying to say is, other than the Barron Trump running for president, what I'm trying to say with all this is, I can see Donald Trump's being, his family being almost like a dynasty of his kids potentially running for president in the future. I could see that happening. And I could see them being very successful in that field. And Democrats, if they get their act together, and go back to the way that Democrats used to think, and thinking like JFK and the Democrats of that time. And I feel like maybe if you could find a level-headed Democrat that we haven't seen in years, and that's the truth, we haven't seen that in years. If you could find that, and it's hard to find, especially nowadays, like, Democrats would have a very, very good chance of winning the presidency. I strongly believe that, but I don't see anybody that's level-headed, like, at all on the Democratic side. I don't see anybody. I mean, who would be, you know what I mean? And that's how, like, my brain, listen, you guys, you gotta remember something. Like, my brain is firing on all, like, 12 cylinders all the time, and I can switch subjects very quickly. I might have ADHD, just throwing it out there. I'm not ashamed of that. I can talk for about one thing and switch gears and talk about something else completely different, all in the same sentence. And I'm working on that. It's hard to keep up sometimes. All right. It really is. I have a hard time keeping up with myself. Like, there's a lot going on up there, and I have a hard time projecting my thoughts sometimes. Like, I talk about one thing and then immediately just shift gears and talk about something completely different. But the whole Barron Trump thing, like I said, I could see that guy. I could see that kid winning the presidency. And we know nothing about Barron Trump other than that's the son of Donald Trump. But I'm just saying, like, I can see, of all the people in his family, I can see him running for president. And I can see him going very far with that. You know what I mean? And how crazy would that be for his kid to run for president and win in the next, let's just say within the next, 15, 20 years. And be the president that not be the president that his dad was. Because a lot of people tend to, I think it was Shaquille O'Neal said, I think Shaquille O'Neal came out and supported Donald Trump once upon a time. Maybe not support him, but he said he liked Donald Trump. He just felt like, and I'm just paraphrasing here, he felt like Donald Trump doesn't know how to talk very well, or he has a hard time projecting his thoughts, and it just doesn't come out right. And I feel like Donald Trump's son, Barron, I think it looks like he would just be the super smart one, like the one that is like, yeah, I support my father. I loved his policies. I'm going to kind of go with that mentality, but I'm going to be the smart one. I'm going to be the one that talks well and knows how to have manners. Because let's be real, Donald Trump doesn't have very good manners, but I mean, he just says what he wants anytime, right? And it makes people angry, him saying the things that he says. It's crazy. It really is. I know I'm saying things that people are not, listen, you guys aren't going to agree with everything that I say, and that's totally fine. That's just who I am. That's my thought process. You can take it or leave it. And, if you guys if you want to troll me. Yeah. I have no problem with someone coming in here calling me a total douche or an idiot, or you don't know what you're talking about, or your logic doesn't make sense, or whatever comment that you want. I'm totally okay with that. I could care less. I mean, you guys are just people that I call them keyboard warriors. You know what I mean? But again, that's your right. If that's what you want to do, if that's what you want to say, have at it. It doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother me. I just kind of look over your comments. I don't really address you in the comments. I see you in there. I might address your negativity every once in a while, but I invite trolls into my chat. Come on in. Let's have a conversation. Let's be civil. Let's be nice to each other. You know what I mean? I think that's the thing that's missing in this country anymore, is people are just so fast to just, be so hateful towards people, and to make fun of people because they don't fall in line with your logic. They don't fall in line with your beliefs. They don't, and that's the beauty part about living in this country. You can agree to disagree, and you can move on. But the problem I feel like we're having nowadays is people are so hateful and so crazy now that you can't hardly reason with people anymore. They're totally one-sided, and they don't care what you think, and that's unfortunately that's just, really sad. We're in a position right now as a country, and that's just how it is. And again, that started in 2015. It felt like all that crazy chaos, started when Donald Trump came down the escalator. TDS is a real thing, guys. It'll be studied. It's probably been studied in universities all over the world, probably not just in the US. It's probably been all over the world. Like, what's the one thing that causes people to be so aggravated and so mean towards each other? Oh, it's TDS. TDS is what makes people nuts and crazy. We need to study this. You say Donald Trump out loud, it makes people's skin crawl. Ask Rosie O'Donnell. Super Jack Clark. People want to know if I'm gay, and you said definitely. Oh, I appreciate. I'm definitely a happy person. I mean, yeah. I mean, I I love everybody. Yeah. I'm a happy person. Don't get it mistaken. TDS is what you have. You wear the MAGA gear and flags on trucks, not us. Do I? I mean, I used to have a truck. Didn't fly any MAGA flags on the truck. I had a Ford F-250. Definitely didn't put any flags on that truck. No MAGA. I do have a Make America Great Again flag. Definitely have one of those. I think we have a Trump 2020 flag. I have that in the closet. I should put that behind me. You know, no, I should probably get a new flag, actually, a Trump 2028 flag. I should probably get one of those. Lifted too, I bet. Yeah, it was actually. I had a 10-inch lift. I did. Hey, make sure you're subscribed to the channel as well and turn on those notifications so you don't miss any time I go live, so you can come back and troll me. I invite you to do so. And the one thing that people tend to forget, that Democrats once upon a time used to make a lot of sense. They really did. I mean, I was pro-Democrat for a while. My family was definitely back in the JFK days. Definitely pro-Democrat. They didn't even think about it. They just, they go to the voting booth and they marked all Democrat, even if they didn't know who that candidate was. They didn't, nope, Democrat all the way across the board. Didn't even care if it was a Republican or not. It was straight Democrat all day long. And it was like that up until, for me anyway, and at least with my family, we were in that boat of, you know what, Dems is the way to go. For a lot of various different reasons. We felt like at the time Democrats were for the people and for, not for the rich. They were for the middle class and all the classic Democratic stuff, right? And it's just like, it's amazing, guys. Just think about like the way that everything just shifted and changed when Trump came down the escalator. I just can't get over like the amount of just it was like a light switch, or like maybe like when you take a ball cap, turn it backwards, kind of like this, from front to back. It was like a switch. And it was like a 180. And for no reason, I mean, for no reason at all. And trust me, and I've said this on previous live streams, I thought Donald Trump was not going to be a good president. I was like, there's no way this guy's going to win. Are you nuts? Are you insane? What is this? What does this man have to offer for this country? And then he has said some things at the podium, like, I'm really rich. Like, yeah, we know you're rich. You're cocky. You're arrogant. You're all these different things. But what do you have to offer for this country? There's no way he's winning. There's absolutely no way in hell. There's not a fucking snowball's chance in hell that Donald Trump is going to be president. I generally believe that. And then the man started talking. Again, he didn't say the greatest things. I don't think he really knows how to. He just says it in however he wants to say it. If it comes out offensive, I think that's just, he just doesn't have a filter. But the more he talked and the things that he wanted to do, it started to make sense. And he just changed the culture of the presidency forever. And, I think in a way it allowed people to, express themselves in different ways. Like, because when he became president, I mean, he changed the game, didn't he? I mean, he is not a traditional sitting president. You know what I mean? He is nothing like anything that this country has ever seen. And you probably will never see that again. That's why I always say, like, we are living in history right now. You know what I mean? Like, we're living in a time where people, I think people are going to look back on this time between 2015 and 2028, they're going to look back on that time and say, what the fuck? What in the hell what was going on with America during that whole entire 10 plus year span right there? Like, everything changed for this country. And if you got guys like Donald Trump that are able to run for president and win in a manner of how he won, and go through the craziness that he's went through, all the legal battles, all the just everything that this man has been through, and putting himself out there the way that he does. I mean, that he laid the foundation for future Americans that might sit there one day and go, I could never make it as president. There's no fucking way in hell that I would ever be able to have a chance of winning presidency. Then you got guys like Donald Trump that run for president, no political experience whatsoever, none whatsoever. He just skipped all the bullshit. No Senate, no Congress, no governor, no nothing, no vice president runs, no nothing, none of that stuff. He skipped the line. He went from the back of the line to the front of the line. Now, granted, he had that fame. Everybody knew who the hell Donald Trump was, obviously. But for him to be in a state of where you're like, Donald, who, what, why? But he changed the game. You know what I mean? And it's like he almost made it okay to express your First Amendment right, your freedom of speech as president. I mean, he changed everything. I don't think the presidency will ever be the same ever again. Ever again. And I think what he's done is he's done so many good things for this country. I think the best thing that he has done for this country by far is the border. The way he handled the border after this last administration, how he was able to come in and fix something that was so broken and shattered and so fucked up, that he was able to come in and fix it fast. And now it's like it never even happened. He's got it sealed, locked down. And I think that's his greatest achievement. By far, his greatest achievement. He just changed the game. He changed everything. He made it okay for the average human being to run for president. That's how I feel. He made it for people like me, American citizens, people like you that might have that, you never know, like that, like maybe I should run for public office, but I'm afraid of, maybe I'm not cut out or fit to be in public office. It's like Donald Trump made it okay to run for public office. Because he is not the most perfect thing you've ever seen. By far. He is by far from it. This man doesn't know how to talk half the time and correctly, but people don't care because he sticks to his word. He sticks to his guns and he means what he says. And I respect that. And I think a lot of people should, because right now there's too many people out there that are scared to voice their opinion on something. Unless you're in my chat, then you're not afraid to voice your frustration, especially with me. I can see that. Unless you're in my chat and you don't like what I'm saying, then yeah, you will voice your frustration. But voice your frustration like that on a much larger scale, and be hated for it on a much larger scale, to put your whole entire livelihood on the line. Because I remember when Barack Obama became president. You remember how youthful looking he was? He looked young. His skin looked nice, and his hair was no gray. Like he looked a very youthful president when he won in 2008. When that dude left office in 2016, it's like he aged 15 years. He was gray, like salt, like that dark salt and pepper look. His skin didn't look as good as it did when he became president. He wasn't, I mean, this is only 2 terms. This is only 8 years. And it felt like the dude aged 15, 20 years. Easy. Because of how stressful the job was and how it took a major toll on his life. And then Donald Trump comes in there and everyone's like, they had like this thing out there that said, it was a while back. I think it was MS Now that talked about it last year, or MSNBC, whatever they're called now. They were like comparing photos of like Barack Obama when he first went in and then when he left, like a side-by-side photo. And they saw like all the gray and how he just aged. And then they looked at Donald Trump in 2016 and then him in like 2024. And there wasn't much difference. It's like nothing ever bothers that guy. I mean, he is just built different. Nothing bothers him. I wish that I had his courage, and just his energy, especially at 70. What is Donald Trump? 78 years old now. Like I wish I had his courage to be able to say the things that he says on a scale like that and not be afraid of any repercussions about what he says. Like he is a true freedom of speech president. You'll never see it again. It's insane. And the job is, don't get me wrong. Like I think Donald Trump even said, this is his first term. He's like, this isn't easy. This is hard. And that's what Barack Obama was saying too. He's like, hey, every decision that ever came across my desk they were never easy. Every single one of them were difficult. Every single one of them. And that's why it came to my desk, because I had to make that decision. Like, Mr. President, you're it. You're the only one that can fix this problem. You're the only one that can do this right now. So like everything that came across Obama's desk was hard. And it's like everything that comes across Trump's desk is like, oh yeah, let's sign that one. That one's good. You know, like nothing ever bothers this guy. I wish nothing ever bothered me like it did him, or bother me like nothing bothers that guy. Like nothing ever does. Nothing. It's like words just bounce off this guy. Like everything just bounces off of him. And you say the most foulest shit to this man and make up all this shit and it just goes right off. Nothing bothers this man. And if it does, you never see it. When's the last time you saw that man be emotional? Yeah, he has no soul. That might be true to a certain extent, but like nothing ever bothers him. Like nothing. Although Dana White did say the other day in an interview, he said that when Donald Trump's wife, his ex-wife that he has with his kids, I think it was with Donald Trump Jr. and Eric Trump. I can't remember her name, but when she passed away, I think when all that went down, Dana White was just talking the other day to somebody and I saw a video. He said that was the only time where he saw Donald Trump that was kind of down. He's like, and you never see this man down. I think that was the one time where he was kind of upset about that situation, you know. But he said you never see him upset about anything. And when she passed away, Dana White said, yeah, that was kind of hard on him. That was kind of tough, but nothing ever bothers that guy. The shit just bounces off of him like crazy. It's insane. I'm going off on a tantrum here. I'm just kind of saying shit willy nilly. Don't have much of an agenda right now. I'm just kind of shooting the shit with you guys. Whew, and the chat's going off right now, isn't it? My goodness. Ladies and gentlemen, maybe we'll have a sit down in a one-on-one and I can, definitely address the chat a little bit more often, but it just feels like all you guys want to do is hate on me. Why you guys want to hate me for? Come on now. Let's be nice. Be nice to each other. Love one another, ladies and gentlemen. Please be nice. This world is so crazy right now. We don't need any more hatred towards one another. You can have your opinion. You can voice your opinion. You can voice your frustration. You can tell people what you're thinking, how you're thinking, why you're thinking it. And you can love the country that you were so blessed to be born in. You won the lottery. I'll always believe that. You won the lottery by being born here, because you can come in here and chit chat with me, even though you don't agree with what I say. That's okay. I appreciate y'all being here anyway. And if you haven't, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel if you are new here, and hit the bell notification. A little bell notification at the top. Make sure you guys are hitting that as well, so you don't miss any time that I go live or that I upload a video to this channel. And until next time, ladies and gentlemen, enjoy the rest of your evening. Have a great rest of your week. Be safe out there, and we will see you all on the next live stream. I'm out of here. Peace.